computer is running really crappy today. I don't know what's going on. But hopefully we can get through the Bible reading. My hair is all over me here. Got hair hanging everywhere. Falls out like crazy. Alright, we'll be reading in the New International Version. And we'll be starting where we left off yesterday with Acts chapter 27. And we'll be reading verse 21 through verse 44. And we're going to find out more about what happens to Paul. Remember, they were on the ship yesterday, and they were having a bad storm, really windy and stuff, and it was like they didn't think they were going to live through it. So let's see what happens. Let me make sure this is still recording. Okay, we're good so far. After they had gone a long time without food, Paul stood up before them and said, "Men, you should have taken my advice not to sail from Crete. Then you would have spared yourselves this damage and loss. But now I urge you to keep up your courage, because not one of you will be lost. Only the ship will be destroyed. Last night an angel of the God to whom I belong and to whom I serve stood beside me and said, 'Do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand trial before Caesar, and God has graciously given you the lives of all who sail with you. So keep up your courage, men, for I have faith in God that it will happen just as he told me. Nevertheless, we must run around on some island.'" Now, the ship is going to wreck. On the 14th night, we were still being driven across the Adriatic Sea when about midnight the sailors sensed they were approaching land. They took soundings and found that the water was 120 feet deep. A short time later, they took soundings again and found it was 90 feet deep. Fearing that we would be dashed against the rocks, they dropped 4 anchors from the stern and prayed for daylight. In an attempt to escape from the ship, the sailors let the lifeboat down into the sea, pretending they were going to lower some anchors from the bow. Then Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, "Unless these men stay with the ship, you cannot be saved." So the soldiers cut the ropes and held the lifeboat and let it drift away. Just before dawn, Paul urged them all to eat. "For the last 14 days, he said, you have been in constant suspense and have gone without food. You haven't eaten anything. Now I urge you to take some food. You need it to survive. Not one of you will lose a single hair from his head." After he said this, he took some bread and gave thanks to God in front of them all. Then he broke it and began to eat. They were all encouraged and ate some food themselves. Altogether, there were 276 of us on board. When they had eaten as much as they wanted, they lightened the ship by throwing the grain into the sea. When daylight came, they did not recognize the land, but they saw a bay with a sandy beach, where they decided to run the ship aground if they could, cutting loose the anchors that left them in the sea at the same time, untied the ropes that held the rudders. Then they hoisted the foresail to the wind and made for the beach, but the ship struck a sandbar and ran aground. The bow stuck fast and would not move, and the stern was broken to pieces by the pounding of the surf. The soldiers planned to kill the prisoners to prevent any of them from swimming away and escaping, but the centurion wanted to spare Paul's life and kept them from carrying out their plan. He ordered those who could swim to jump overboard first and get to land. The rest were to get on their planks or on other pieces of the ship. In this way, everyone reached land safely, just like the angel of God told Paul they would. And that's where we'll stop with Acts for today. Let me make sure this video is still recording. And then we'll go to our psalm. Okay, we're still good so far. Today we are going to be reading Psalm 8. It is for the director of music according to the Gittith, a Psalm of David. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them. You have made them a little lower than the angels, and crowned them with glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands, and put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, and the animals of the wild, the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the sea. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. And that was Psalm 8, the Psalm of David. And lastly, for our Bible reading today, we're going to read Proverbs chapter 18. We'll be reading verses 23 and 24. And Proverbs 18:23 says, "The poor plead for mercy, but the rich answer harshly." And Proverbs 18:24 lastly says, "One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." Okay, guys, that was our Bible reading for today. I hope it touched your guys' hearts. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Let's bring those souls to Jesus. And God willing, I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye, guys. God bless.